Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
So we were into the identity and governance, and let us go back to the authentic and okay. So here service principles we were discussing, and the last we left to this point Azure Key Vault basically. So have you got chance to work with Azure Key Vault? Do you have any idea about it?
I've used it little bit, couple of
Okay.
for some project.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay, fine. So basically Azure Key, basically it's as the name suggests, right? Azure Key Vault is the vault kind of secured place where you keep your keys. So that is as simple as it is. Okay, so it is have that, and there are other vaults like HashiCorp vault that is called EVA Enterprise Vault. So similarly, there is Azure Key Vault, and it's simple. It does the simple thing, right, to store secrets. Okay, so what is the use of it basically? No, uh, why this is getting used? We discussed in last session as well that uh, you if you will not store your secret in a vault, then where you normally store? You store in the config file somewhere, right, and in the application, and it is exposed, right? It is exposed for anyone who can go to the code. Maybe your config file may be there in git repo, and then it is exposed that whoever has access to that. So overall your secrets are exposed. That is one challenge. The second thing is that the password rotation, to have the better security practices, uh, you need to rotate the password regularly, but how that rotation gets ensured? So these are the challenges. Otherwise you need to manually do the rotations and all that. So this needs manual intervention. Okay, so this is what Azure Key Vault does basically. So one thing is that the secret management, and one of the biggest advantage of Azure Key Vault is that if you are using Azure services, then Azure Key Vault is free for you. Okay, so basically it's like free service. Number one, it is secured one, so it is used to securely store your credentials and all. So there are organizations which are moving to Azure Key Vault, even if they are into HashiCorp Vault, which is more secure definitely. uh, and works both for on-prem and cloud, but people are moving because it's free, and if you are in vault, it is kind of more for cloud services. It is more aligned with the needs of yours. So that is one thing. So it's a vault where you keep your secrets, right? It may be. So the second thing is that key management solution is that you can create your encrypted key as well, so that it can create the keys. Okay, and the third thing is the you can have your certificates also stored there in vault. So anything that is related to your any secret, any kind of secret that is there, which can be represented in key value, it is being managed by the Azure Key Vault. Okay, so this is what it does. Okay, so how you do basically, you normally, if you have access to Azure Key Vault, you have a key there to go to it, and then and for each application there are different keys. So as for example, in your organization there are 30 different, 40 different project team, they have different subscription. Against each application team, they have a AKV for each application, and they can have multiple as well. As for example, you have your product account production application, or you have a QA, or you have you can say UAT for different components for different instances. You can have different vaults as well. So this makes your overall secrets more secured, right? And this is what the secret term is, right? It is secret. You need to do something for it. If you are just writing your secret in config file somewhere and making it exposed, right, means it's a money, right? You anyone can, if he has you have anyone has access to the your secrets, he can enter anywhere, right? Inside your application he can get the data and out of it. So it's a very important to have that credential key vault thing. So what I want you to remember, number one, it is you can have, um, it's a tool to manage your secrets. Number one, it is free overall. And we can have different kind of secrets, like secret. And apart from that, it can generate keys, it can store certificates, it can create certificates. So these things are there associated with that. Okay. Keys, secret, and certificate are protected without having to write the code yourself, and you are easily able to use them from your application. So number one, right? So you don't need to write, you don't need to have in your code line that, okay, yeah, means read the config file, go to this particular secret, just read the thing and put it. It's not you are just, you are getting a kind of a endpoint, and you have a key, just go there and you fetch your keys there. You allow customer to own and manage their own keys, secret, and certificates, so you can concentrate on providing the core software feature. So your application will not own the responsibility on potential liability for your customer tenant keys. So if anyone is accessing those applications, okay, your application, so they have their keys, okay, so that keys is there managed by Azure Key Vault. So it's their responsibility to handle their keys that they use to access the application. So overall, as a development, as a project team, your focus is more on development, and all the keys and everything, it will be taken care by that, even your customer keys, all that. Okay. So what are the credentials, password, access key, SaaS token, and all? You can store it there, and then you can manage certificates there. So overall, this is a solution where you can have that feature. And definitely this is important, and people will talk about it, that, okay, what is the solution if you want to store, how to make your application more secure, what are things that you do. Azure Key Vault is one of them, and then what Azure Key Vault can do, what Azure Key Vault can't do, kind of that. Okay. So this is about Azure Key Vault in general and uh, overall, and let us move to the next point where we will discuss about some other. And I'm not doing the knowledge check right now. We will move to the next area and let us talk about it. Okay. Or do one thing, let us have a quick check. Okay. So you guys, let us just do a quick knowledge check. Okay. Do a quick knowledge check. Whatever we have done, just a kind of a quick check based on that. So let me give you 5 minutes, 8:20, 8:17. Let us do this knowledge check at the end of this, and let us see where we are. There are 4 questions. Let us see where you are. Read it. Take your 5 minutes of time. We will be 8:17. So let us begin. If you want the link, let me provide you.
I selected the second one, the role-based.
Yeah,
Hmm.
same.
Okay. Role-based access control permission.
Hmm.
Okay, and the answer might be require an access review, right?
Yes.
Hmm. And what is the last? What is the other one?
Third one, give
What
access
should
to the
tailwind
partner.
to give access partnership developer? Use. Okay, so
Yeah.
partner developer. Okay, so it's a kind of a vendor kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So our developer
So
to
I
sign into
selected
social identities. Huh?
I selected AD Connect to bring a
AD
developer.
Connect.
Yeah. That is
Yeah,
for a project.
directly. Yeah, that is internal. This is partner number one. This is a
Yeah.
vendor kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay. What solution would be the best for user sign-in attempt requirement?
So that is right for me. Create a sign-in risk policy.
Okay, fine. That's good. Okay. Anyways, so overall, yes. As I mentioned earlier, right? It is a kind of keywords and notes. It is important to have
Mm-hmm.
it there, and you need to have that connection. Okay, permission and all. So overall, that connection will be needed, but not a problem. We are into initial go through of the whole thing. Okay, so and then we will be again doing it multiple times. Not a problem. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
overall, but
Yeah.
yes, notes and going through is important. Just notes, right? Have keyword. Okay, this is this is, and then slowly we will start connecting and all that. But overall, in general, even if uh, expert do not get 900 out of 900, it's like 800 is good overall. 1000, right? 1000 marks. So it's like 800 and all we see. Even the experts means those guys who are kind of too good in that, and overall we have seen all that. 80 85 is good. So these are scenario based thing, but um, it is also not like that if we will know the keyword and all, and if we just connect and all that, things are straight in some cases. Okay, no problem. So let us move ahead, and so we are 50% here in the second area. Good. Okay, let us talk about monitoring solution, log and monitoring. Have you ever worked on any monitoring tool? Can you tell me what this monitoring tool does? Any example that you know, and what this means basically? If you know exactly, what monitoring tool does. Have you used any one monitoring tool, and can you just tell us?
We have used, but I don't know. We have heard is the functionality for me.
Which
But
which monitoring?
like you have VROps, vRealize Operation Manager for the VMware, and that's it
Acha.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So okay.
Yeah,
So what this? Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Tell
variable
me.
operation. We have something for logs as well, for like
Hmm.
syslog collection, log insight. So like event
Okay.
monitoring and log collection.
Event monitoring. Correct. Correct. Okay. Good. So basically, why monitoring? Number one, why logging? Okay. So what log is, right? When you are a developer, the log is means whenever any error occurs in any part of code, you customize it and you send the web message out, that okay, this is this, as for example, a particular anything you want to say. If a particular kind of uh, method fails, and then you output a message saying okay, this is wrong, due to that this is happening. Maybe you customize, you get a 400 and then you customize it and you present it there. So this is a kind of a at developer level, right? The logs are there. Now when you see the monitoring solution and all, right, so there are different kind of logs. There are application log, there are system logs, there are multiple kind of that thing is there, right? So now what is the advantage when you say go to the bottom line? So as for example, you are a developer and then you are developing an application and your application fails. Then what is the advantage of log? When your application fails, then you want to know why it failed. So you go to log and go through it, and then you see the exact error message that is coming up from the log. If there is try catch there properly, so you get a properly error handling happen. But this is the manual thing, right? When you talk about a kind of a huge application where there are so many things happening and you cannot go manually, right? If it fails, it fails, and then yes, after that you can go to the C and log. But till then, think about Amazon, think about Google. Okay, think about, right? There was a failure on what, Facebook some days back, right? Someone, Facebook was down, right, for some part
No,
of time.
I'm not aware of it.
Or WhatsApp,
Yeah.
or WhatsApp was down.
Yeah.
Some huge outage was there for a certain. What I'm saying is any application which is even if you say credit card application is there, it is down due to any reason, geographically across the region. Yes, you can find out the reason and a developer will go even to go till that point when developer will see that thing, and go and debug. It is debugging, but it needs a kind of continuous monitoring system that is in place, and it has to be automated as well. And also there has to be alerting involved, that okay, at you have a checkpoint that your throughput drops up by certain level, you alarm the user that this is what that is happening. So kind of a preventive measure as well. Okay, so something is happening, this is going down, and this is the reason why the application is getting slow, and that's what that log says. And monitor, so based on log, so log is first thing, first level. Log is generated, what you monitor the log, and then based on the monitoring you do alerting and all. So there are different levels. One of the tools, I don't know, you have heard about it, Prometheus is one of the tools that do log monitoring. It is a open source tool and very good for log monitoring. It is used across. So for Azure resources, Azure monitoring is there. And let us see. So what this guy says, that suppose you work with Tailwind Trader that is moving its system to Azure with a mixture of IaaS and PaaS. Just a quick thing, just a general knowledge. What is the full form of IaaS and what is the full form of PaaS? Just quick, just as the word came. What is IaaS?
Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so overall, there are things and several when application of delegated system becomes entirely unavailable. There was an extended delay to identify and resolve the issue, and then there was something happened in the environment, and there were instances the performance was dropped, right? So this is what, and then there was an impact. Definitely, there was huge fines. There was one of the organization where I am providing consultancy. They said that they had to pay, they are into credit card processing, and they said that they had to pay millions of dollar because they missed some of the logs, they missed some of the alerts. Okay, so think about it, the impact of it, right? Means it's like someone broke into your house, you are not there, and you don't know. Now you will come to know only when you will come to your house and when you will see that, okay, this happened, the key was there broken, something, you will see that. This is like the way. If you are not, you don't have the monitoring solution in place. But if you have the monitoring solution proper, in that case, suddenly, whenever someone breaks in, you will get a mail, you will get an alarm, you will get an alert that something is wrong on that. Or maybe, you may have left your front door open, maybe, and you start getting alarm based on that, whatever, right? Or someone, just there was some suspecting behavior outside your door, something that happens, even no one entered, and then you get the alarm. And even better, someone suspicious enters your apartment, and then there is a kind of alarm that is raised to all across the society, anything, any kind of stuff. So similarly, that happens with the application as well, right? So there, it's not that, complete breakdown will happen and then you will come to know, and this is what that happens, right? You need to have a continuous monitoring in place. Okay, so this is called continuous monitoring. Okay, must include analysis of performance matrices and logs to get visibility into health and performance of services that are part of the architecture. So this is about logs. Let us move ahead. Let us see if I have any. Okay, we have done. Okay, now how this works overall. Overall, when we say log analytics, right? So basically, we have the different data sources, we have different applications, and from that application, you get logs. Okay, so the records are nothing but logs. Maybe you can say your application matrices. Now it goes to the log analytics workspace. Okay, now the how the logs are going to be analyzed. So then this comes into picture, and that what they do, that based on the logs, there is alert mechanism, there are dashboard created to have the analysis. Power BI and export happens to save the logs to some places, kind of that. So this kind of, mechanism is there, so that based on the logs, you will be able to analyze it properly, and you will be able to alert the needed participants. Okay, so this is a kind of a, different agents, portal, and all different servers are there, and then through that this goes overall. In general, what is important here is, um, we have different kind of logs there, as for example event logs, as you mentioned, performance logs. So for different, different resources, different type of resources, there are different kind of logs that are, that comes out of it. Okay, like security events, like tables, and also different things are there, different, um, and all those different, resources have different kind of logs, and then based on those logs, basically you will do the analysis overall. So overall, this is what monitoring solution is in general. Okay, let us come back to, okay, okay. So Azure monitor data resources, so common, that's okay, we have seen this thing, that okay. Now what are the sources of the logs? So we have seen, right, we talked about application can be the source, operating system, Azure resources, Azure subscription. So different kind of sources have will show you some behavior, right? And based on that, logs are generated. Okay, so number one is sources. These are the sources, number one. Number two, based on that, logs are generated, and then these are the different ways to have your log analyzed or stored or visualized. So different different components are there which will help you to your monitor your Azure resources properly or applications properly which are on that. So this whole thing is called monitoring solution. Okay, so one thing is the source from where you are going to get the log. The second thing is log itself. Okay, means and then the third thing is that what are the solutions that Azure provides to store, analyze, and visualize those logs. So this is what this monitoring solution does. So they have the tier, different tiers are there, right? Different levels, and the top level is application. So most important thing when you say what are the most important logs? Application, right? Application itself. The second thing is operating system, and this way this whole this is structured. So based on their level of that. So there are they mentioned application data, operating system data, Azure resource data, subscription data, and all. Okay, so these are the different kind of that, and they provide this logging and all. Okay, so events, storage log, event hubs, and all. So this is overall concept is this in general related to the log. Then we already talked about log analytics, right? Based on the log data, right, there is a log analytics is there, right? So when you say Azure Monitor store data in log analytics workspace, this is the workspace where your this is the diagram I have shown, right? So you where your uh, log data is there, so that is called log analytics workspace. So what it is a storage, right? So it's like Azure resource, and there is a container there where data is stored. Okay, and they have their boundary, and based on it can, and this will not contain um, the data of all your applications within the organizations, right? That's why they mention the administrative boundary, means the logs specific to maybe one application. If it is a small one, maybe you know based on the geographical boundary and all, and it can be, so their administrative boundary, that's what they mention about it. Okay, so this is called log analytics workspace, right? So what it does basically, it's basically storage, right, where your logs are stored. So this is what it does. And data isolation by granting different user access right following one of the recommended design strategy. Who can access the log, that is second thing. And then the scope of setting price tiers and all, whatever. So these are the things. And they mentioned a scenario, centralized, decentralized, and hybrid, where you want to store the log. Okay, so then there are different systems and all, they talked about it in general. Not that complex per se, this whole thing is. So in this whole module, they will talk about these things about it's more on, right, access control and all, monitoring workspace, and these terminologies they talked. This is straightforward. Now what is the next thing basically? So the till now what we have done, so the first part that we have done was the
Watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
Workspace, right? So log analytics workspace. So log analytics workspace was related to the storage of the logs. Okay, storage of the logs and access to that storage. So it was more into that. Okay, now the second part is that Azure Insight. Okay, so now what we have to do, that we need to analyze the data. You have the log and that is stored somewhere. So the first component that we have done was the resource in itself, right? The source of that log. Number two was the log itself and where it was stored. After that, the third thing is the analysis of that log, right? Data analysis, reporting and all. So this comes into by the then the concept of Azure workbook and Azure Insight comes into picture. Okay, so what they do basically, right? So they have the you have data from different sources, now the club together, right? Now based on the data, based on the data, the conversion of data into information, that is the work of Azure workbook. So what it does, that it converts your data into information, right? Maybe it segments into multiple parts like availability, performance, uses, and all those components. It divides into multiple sections and then it converts into the information, right? As for example, you have the data in general, and then the data is, there is a data of where there is HTTP request time, maybe that information is there. So it separates it, it bifurcates the whole data into multiple segments based on the matrices, based on the keywords that it finds, and then it groups it maybe, and then your data becomes an information, right? So it breaks down the unnecessary stuff out of those logs, and then it groups it and regroups it so that the data can be analyzed. This is the work of Azure workbook. Okay, as for example, they have given the example, analyzing performance logs from virtual machine to identify high CPU and low memory instances. Where in which case this happened. So the logs are there. So from the log they fetch out the data, right? And then they will say that, okay, when this particular thing happened, as for example, let us take an example that in my laptop, due to we all have work from home, and sometimes your kids use your laptop and suddenly the memory usage increases. Why? Because they play game and it is like it is quite high memory usage things, right? And suddenly I come here and then I see that, oh, what happened, why my system went slow. Okay, and then I just find out, okay, this was here the a game was running, and due to that suddenly I have seen the high memory uses of that. Now what will happen if I have the logs of it, right? So we have the logs that, okay, there are memory uses, data is there, like this time 90, this time 60, this time 30, and then based on that data I will just see that at what time period this particular um, memory users are quite high and what applications we are running that time, and based on that I will be able to convert that thing into information, and that's what the log does. Okay, so they have the different with that the workbooks are compatible with different data sources from with that, and then it converts into that. Okay, and then you have different insights are there when you have a kind of way to way to view your application, right? Way to view what is happening, kind of a dashboard, right? Kind of a service that gives you a view. Okay, so that gives that insight, then the insight comes into picture. So overall we have workbook, Yeah, and then we have insight of that data. So there are different type of insights that you have to design. Okay, that insight is a kind of a solution where you need to define that how you are going to define your monitoring overall, right? And then there are insights are into multiple groups, right? And there are application insight, container insight, customer DV insight, and all that. This gives monitoring setup, you can say, for different areas, different components, or different resources basically. Okay, as for example, customer container insight monitor the performance of container workload deployed to either Azure container instance or managed. So you have grouped it. So first thing you have done is that you in when you talked about your Azure workbook, what you have done it, you have just took that log, you just you read that log. This moment workbooks, what they do, that they go through the log and that they convert the raw log data into meaningful data. That is one thing. Now the insight, what it does, that now it groups that whole thing into multiple based on the resources and all, and then it will be it will work on that specific customization for monitoring of this area. So insight is more about customizing it, right? So as for example, you have an application which are using multiple services, and then you have a log there, and you have a log space, workspace where you are getting the getting all the logs, and then you have workbook where you convert that log into meaningful information. Okay, fine. If you don't have so many components, it's good. If you are working on a small application, good. Now there is a need of customization, right? And specific to that particular resource. So Azure Insight does that customization for you, because it goes on application, customer DV and all that. So it gives you a specific type. So it is a kind of analysis to a specific area, and that's what it says. Analyze and address issues and problems that affect your applications. That is okay. Improve your application's development life cycle, measure your user experience, and analyze all that. So it's like use Azure VM Insight, where the application insight is used, Azure VM Insight is used, and different things. So there are different, you can say, specific insight, and they have given you example of where exactly this is used. Bit of theoretical overall, but this gives you a kind of not that complex, so that we will have that Azure. Okay, what are exporters? This is also important. Let me see if I have one example of not Azure basically, but just a minute. I will show you one other monitoring, solution and how it works, and that will give you an idea about it. Okay, so let me show you something. Guys, are you getting it overall? Hello?
Yeah, Gun.
Yeah, bit theoretical, but yes, I'm trying to give some examples that can help you. Okay, and this is not Azure, this is Prometheus.
This is for Kubernetes, meant to right? Prometheus.
Prometheus, yeah, Kubernetes, yes, with Kubernetes also we use it. This is open source tool, as I said. So basically, this diagram can give more clarity, though this is not Azure. So how they work basically is that, so they have different targets. Okay, so this Prometheus is a this monitoring is specifically called time series data. Okay, so time series data is your share market data, is for example, right? With time, what are the what is the movement of share prices, something like that. Your gold prices, your money, dollar value, and all. Mostly financial kind of things, right? Similarly, at a as I said, at a particular point of time when my son is using the laptop, and I want to know that what was the impact due to that, on the memory uses. So this kind of thing, if I need, I need that time series data where it is covered.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan, and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.